Section 21 of Scientific American Supplement, number 415, December 15, 1883. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Read by Jean Coleman, Scientific American Supplement, number 415, December 15, 1883, by Various. The use of the mullein plant in the treatment of pulmonary consumption. Footnote from a paper published in the British Medical Journal by F. J. B. Quinlan, M.D., M.R.I.A., F.K.Q.C.P., Physician to St. Vincent's Hospital, Dublin. From time immemorial, the Verbiscus tapsus, or great mullein, has been a trusted popular remedy in Ireland for the treatment of the above formidable malady. It is a wild plant. Most persons would call it a weed, found in many parts of the United Kingdom, and according to Sowerby's British Botany, Volume 6, page 110, is rather sparingly distributed over England and the south of Scotland. In most parts of Ireland, however, in addition to growing wild, it is carefully cultivated in gardens and occasionally on a rather extensive scale, and this is done wholly and solely in obedience to a steady popular call for the herb by phthisical sufferers. Constantly in Irish newspapers there are advertisements offering it for sale, and there are in this city pharmaceutical establishments of the first rank in which it can be bought. Still, it does not appear in the pharmacopoeia, nor, as far as I know, has its use received the official sanction of the medical profession. Some friends with whom I talked over the matter at the pharmaceutical conference at Southampton last August suggested that it would be desirable to make a therapeutical research into the powers of this drug and ascertain by actual experiment its efficacy or otherwise. Having partially accomplished this, I am anxious to very briefly set forth what has been done, in order that others may be induced to cooperate in the work. There are 5 mulleins, all belonging to the parent order of the Scrophulariaceae, but the old Irish remedy is the great mullein, or Verbiscum tapsus, a faithful delineation of which will be found in Plate 1, 437, Volume 6 of Sowerby. It is a hardy biennial with a thick stalk from 18 inches to 4 feet high, and with very peculiar, large, woolly, and mucilaginous leaves, and a long flower spike with ugly yellow and nearly sessile flowers. The leaves are best gathered in late summer or autumn, shortly before the plant flowers. In former times it appears to have been rather highly thought of, particularly as a remedy for diarrhea and Dioscorides, culpepper, and Gerarde favorably alluded to it. Having been furnished with a good supply of fresh mullein from a garden near this city where it is extensively grown, I commenced operations. As it proved useful, subsequent supplies were procured from our drug contractor. The old Irish method of administering the mullein is to place an ounce of dried leaves or a corresponding quantity of the fresh ones in a pint of milk, to boil for 10 minutes, and then to strain. This strained fluid is given warm to the patient, with or without a little sugar. It is administered twice a day, and the taste of the mixture is bland, mucilaginous, comforting to the praecordia, and not disagreeable. I resolved to try this method and also the watery infusion, and moreover the natural expressed juice fortified with glycerin. This latter preparation was carefully made for me from fresh mullein leaves by Dr. John Evans, chemist to the Queen and the Prince of Wales. Some phthisical sufferers, of whom there are here, alas, too many, were now admitted from time to time into St. Vincent's Hospital. They were admitted in all stages, from an early one to the most advanced. On each admission the case was carefully examined. The history, symptoms, and physical signs were exactly noted. and the patient was weighed on his stage balance with great accuracy. The patient was put as much as possible on the Mullein treatment only. For obvious reasons, no cod liver oil, kumis, or other weight producer was given. The patients got the diet suitable to such sufferers, and if the special symptoms became troublesome, received appropriate treatment. As much as possible, however, they were left to the Mullein, a proceeding which was entirely satisfactory to themselves. In addition to the admission weighing, they were carefully weighed every week, and care was taken that this should be done as nearly as possible on the same day and hour with the same clothes, and in fact as much as could be under the same conditions. In securing this, the patients anxiously cooperated, and it was frequently amusing, but sometimes painful, to watch the satisfaction or chagrin with which the weekly result was received. I must here tender my acknowledgments to our zealous, attentive, and accurate house surgeon, Mr. Dennis P. Kenna, by whom this important but tedious duty was discharged. Dr. Quinlan then refers to several cases in which the Mullein plant has been tried as a remedy for consumption, and remarks that these cases, although too few to justify any general conclusion, appear to establish some useful facts. The Mullein plant, boiled in milk, is liked by the patients. In watery infusion, it is disagreeable, and the succus is still more so. The hot milk decoction causes a comfortable, what our Gaelic neighbors called pectorale sensation, and when once patients take it, they experience a physiological want, and when the supply was once or twice interrupted, complained much in consequence. That it eases physical cough, there can be no doubt. In fact, some of the patients scarcely took their cough mixtures at all. An unmixed boon to physical sufferers with delicate stomachs. Its power of checking physical looseness of the bowels was very marked, and experiment proved that this was not merely due to the well-known astringent properties of boiled milk. It also gave great relief to the dyspnea. For physical night sweats, it is utterly useless, but these can be completely checked by the hypodermic use of from 1/18 to 1/50 of a grain of the atropia sulfate. The smaller dose, if it will answer, being preferable, as the larger causes dryness of the pharynx and interferes with ocular accommodation. In advanced cases, it does not prevent loss of weight, nor am I aware of anything that will, except kumis. Dr. Carrick, in this interesting work on the kumis treatment of southern Russia, page 213, says, I have seen a consumption invalid gain largely in weight while the disease was making rapid progress in her lungs, and the evening temperature rarely fell below 101 degrees Fahrenheit. Until then, I considered that an increase of weight in phthisis pulmonalis was a proof of the arrest of the malady. If kumis possesses this power, Mullein does not. But unfortunately, as real kumis can be made from the milk of the mare only, and as it does not bear traveling, the consumptive invalid must go at least to Samara or southern Russia. In pre-tubercular and early cases of pulmonary consumption, Mullein appears to have a distinct weight-increasing power, and I have observed this in several private cases also. Having no weighings of these latter, however, makes this statement merely an expression of opinion. In early cases, Mullein milk appears to act very much in the same manner as cod liver oil, and when we consider that it is at once cheap and palatable, it is certainly worth a trial. I will continue to research by careful weighings of early cases, and will further endeavor to ascertain whether the addition of Mullein to the cultivating solution prevents the propagation of the physical bacillus. End of section 21, read by Jean Coleman, Salt Lake City, May 6, 2022.